Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community. Body, mind, soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
We are so pleased to introduce you to today's guest. She is a truly amazing and beautiful person who loves to inspire and coach her clients to have a breakthrough in what their vision is for the future. She is a supporter of women who find themselves lost to get out in the world, share their passion, hopes, and dreams, and turn them into reality. Please welcome to the table, Anne Marie. Anne Marie, we're so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. It is an honor and a privilege to be here.
Anne Marie, you are a mentor, a coach, an inspirer of women. So take a few minutes and your first visit with us, tell us and the listeners a little bit more about what you do and how you got here. Why is this your passion project?
Absolutely, absolutely. I am a certified dream builder coach, and kind of how I got to this place was about 20 years ago or so. My father had passed away, and he was truly my best friend. I mean, he was my everything. He was my coach. He was my confidant. I mean, he just was everything to me and my children. And, I had no idea what I was going to do in my life without him in it. And how was I going to move on? What was I going to do? So I just dove into the corporate world and just worked my way up the ladder and just really, dug in. And I felt like I was leaving my soul at the door. I felt like there was this emptiness still inside of me. And I knew that there was so much more for me. And so I decided to jump on the computer and type in, coaching. Well, you can imagine what popped up: basketball, football, all of these other things that were really not what I was looking for. So I went into mentoring because that's what I had been doing for 20 years, revamping systems, building teams, doing that. And I really like doing that. And so I thought, that's a way to go. And so I typed in mentor coaching, life coaching, and the Brave Thinking Institute popped up. And I thought, oh, they line up with my core values. And I just really love what they're part of. And so I went through their rigorous course, and, it is proven, reliable, repeatable system, been doing it over and over and over, built 40 years of research. And so I found who I was. I found who I was in that program. And they have 10 principles that really kind of break down how to get from where you are to where you want to be, and steps in between, which can really skyrocket your success, right? In any area of your life. It really can. Do you mind if I share a quick story?
Go for it.
Please do.
Okay. So there's this mother mouse, and she's walking through a house, and she has 3 little babies in tow. And as they come around the corner, there's a cat, and he's ready to pounce. And he's looking at these mice thinking, there's my lunch. And so she stands up, the mother mouse does, on her hind legs, and she says, woof, woof, woof. And the cat takes off, totally scared. And the mama mouse turns around to her babies and she says, now, children, that's the power of learning another language. Now, I love that story, and let me tell you why. It's because there is something standing in the way of where the mouse wants to go. Well, that would be the cat, right? They wanted to go through the house. And so we all have something standing in our way. And, just like I did when I was going to work and like leaving my soul at the door, there's something standing in the way of where we want to go. And so that language is a pattern, a system, a way of doing things that automatically creates the results that we want. And once we know that language, we can truly apply it to any area of our life that we want to improve. So, just like a blade of grass will press through cement to seek the light, they say that there's little angels standing over it. Grow, grow, grow. The same thing is often true of our dreams, and that we're born out of the challenges that we face and that we experience. The universe really talks to us through two signals, and that would be longing and discontents, being pushed by pain or pulled by a vision. And so with these two energies, there's a pain of a problem or the burning desire of what you really want, right? And so it's essential. We're going to have 525,600 minutes over the next year. So we can live by design or we could live by default, right? Yeah, so let's notice something really quick. As you're sitting in the chair that you're sitting or the couch that you're sitting on and your feet are on the ground, notice your feet on the ground. You notice how they're on the ground and your bottom's in the chair? Or how about the air on your skin, right? So we might be a person who doesn't know what their dream is or what they want their life to be, that there's just something more. It might be a person who has a lot of dreams and doesn't know which one to choose, right? Or you might be very successful and you're just not feeling that fulfillment, that quite making a difference that you want to make. Would it be all right if I shared a couple of principles with you?
Please. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
This is
Over here, we have goosebumps and we're taking notes and we're like, this is fabulous.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. So Howard Thurman, Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor, said this: don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world really needs is more people who are alive. So write this down. Clarity is power. It is important to be crystal clear on what it is that you would love. It's just like wanting to build a house. You have to have a clear blueprint, right? And without that clearly defined blueprint, you can't build the house. Well, the same is true with our dreams and what we would love. So in order to design your dream, you need to ask yourself a few questions. What do I want? What would I love in my life? Let's do a real quick assessment. Can we do that? So let's talk about your health and well-being. You might be a person who feels stuck in the ability to transform your health. You might be a person who has relatively good health, no symptoms, but you know that there's a little bit more vibrancy and aliveness you could feel. So look at that as on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Which area are you in the middle? Are you high? Are you low? And then love and relationships, same thing, scale of 1 to 5. You might be a person who longs for a deep, meaning relationship, that loving and caring partner. Or you might be the person who wants to deepen your love, have more fun with a relationship you're already in. And then we have your vocation, your career, the expression of yourself. You might be the person who feels like you're stuck in a job. I was stuck in a job, right? It's tearing my soul out every day. You might be a person who loves your work, but you work too many hours and there's not enough freedom. So again, on that scale, 1 to 5, where do you land? And then we have time and money freedom. Those are the 4 domains that we live in. And so with time and money freedom, you might be a person who doesn't have the money to do the things that you really want to do or give or contribute, to those causes, to those organizations that matter most to you. You might be the person who is missing important moments at home with your kids or traveling or just having plain old fun. Or you might be the person that feels like you're out of balance with the time and money. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where does that look for you? What are your results? And we want to pay attention to our thoughts around those results. And this is not a place of judgment or blame. Your responses are not good or bad, right or wrong. They're just where you are at this point in life, right? So when we become clear on what we really want in our life, you begin to see opportunities and circumstances and resources that you would have otherwise missed. So just jot down a few things
So
to get,
true.
yeah. So just jot down a couple of things that describe what you would love: more money, less stress, shed some weight, or find the love of your life. And so as we do this, I'm going to give you the first dream builder principle. And then that's just the first dream builder principle is designing that dream. And we just went through that on the assessment. And so the next principle is, let's decide for your dream. It's important to decide for what you want. Once you make a firm decision, even in the absence of perfect conditions and knowing the how and a whole manner of things, reach out to fulfill that decision. And it starts by saying to yourself, today is the day I'm going after my dream. Today is the day that I say no to doubt and reason on why it won't work, and say yes to the possibilities and opportunities. Today is the day that you're going to suspend the belief in conditions and instead believe in the power that's breathing you. There's no worthier time to invest in yourself and to begin the resources of your awareness and expanding what that looks like. So let's expand. Let's expand.
Decide.
Yeah, you have to decide, right? So successful people, they decide quickly and change their decision rarely. So when you see those folks that are like, oh, well, I think I'm going to do this, well, wait, let's look at their results. So when you make that firm decision and go forward, you learn the things that they just appear. They just appear. So when you move on to Dream Builder principle number 3, and that's befriending your fear. So many people ask me, what do you mean befriending your fear? Well, doing the thing that you really want to do, even when fear rises up and tries to stop you. You make friend your fear. One of the things I love to do is to make a date with fear. And so as I'm, going live or I'm doing a recording, something like this, that little bit of fear pops up, and it happens to everybody. Is it going to work? Am I going to sound right? Do I sound ridiculous? And so all of these things pop up. So I always tell my fear, you know what? I'll meet you Friday at 2:00. So I don't have time for you today. So let's schedule a time. And by the time 2:00 Friday comes, the fear is gone because I've already done the thing that I wanted to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is a great perspective to have around fear too. It's like, I don't have time to deal with you right now. You come back and see me later.
Yeah, and that's what I do. Yeah.
Is the doing, like just doing the thing that you're going to do anyways.
Yes.
It's not that the fear goes away. You just have to do it.
That's exactly right. It's okay to have fear. We don't want fear to have us. Right. And so we just keep going through. And so with great dream building, we have to be able to spend the knowing how and take the action in the absence of all the answers. Right. So we say yes to the part of us that really wants to go forth. And because there's always that part that says, oh yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. And that's that small, still voice that says, you've never done that before. Who do you think you are? Right. And that's that fear popping up saying, Mike, my answer to that is, so what if I fail? It took Thomas Edison over 1,000 times to reach the light bulb to actually have the light bulb work. Right. And so he says
Mm.
failure is not, he sees it as failure as feedback. Let me get that straight. Thomas Edison said failure is feedback on how not to do things right. So that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. This is the way to do it. So it's just feedback. That failure is feedback. So let's look at Oprah Winfrey really quick. Right? Oprah Winfrey. She was fired from TV because she wasn't a good fit. And look at her today. She owns her own company. Right? She's huge. Huge.
Right.
She has her own network.
Network. That's right. That's right. And magazines and
Yeah.
different things. Exactly. How about Steven Spielberg? He was rejected
Same thing.
from school, right? USC Film School. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I mean, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Wow. Right? I could go on and on and on about all of the books that he had written that were turned on into movies. And my favorite one, we have Walt Disney, fired from the newspaper because he had no original ideas.
Hmm.
Makes me think.
The original Imagineer, right?
Yes. Where would we be without the amusement parks? Pardon me?
If he wasn't fired from newspaper, would he have gone into, like,
Right.
we're loving
Building
the
the
dogs
amusement
podcast
park.
today.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's just right. But he looked at that and said, you know what? That was feedback. You say I don't have any original ideas. Well, I'm going to create some for myself. And I love what my mentor says. She says, I have 2 black belts, one in success and one in failure. I just love that because that opens us up and allows us to have failure. When we were babies, we started out as non-walkers, right? I mean, we're looking at all these people and we're going, hey, I want to be like them. There's a cookie across the room on that table. I want to go get it. And so we stood up and we walked, we fell. But did that stop us? No, we got back up, right? Yeah, we said, I see that cookie over there. And so I want to stand up like everybody. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, and so with some support, we finally became that walker. But something happens to us as adults and we stop giving ourselves permission to fall down. And if we fall down, we always say things like, well, I guess it just wasn't meant for me to be a walker. I guess it wasn't meant for me to be a business owner. But it takes fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving those great dreams, right? So it's the choices that we make today and the actions that we take today is ultimately who we become tomorrow. And so that's a little bit of where I came from and how I got to where I'm at and how I bring from where you are to where you want to be and how to get there.
What a
I
great
was
roadmap.
taking notes all over the place while you were talking because these are so great tips, not just for you personally, but for your business, for how you interact with people.
And it's great to remember, like, wherever you are on your journey, you can stop and reevaluate this.
Yes,
Like, and take that minute, and no matter where you're at,
that's correct.
the basics, like,
Yes.
she
And
is very much demanding attention.
I
The
know
dog is on my lap,
I
like
know.
all over me.
Very much
Beautiful
demanding.
puppy. So these principles you can definitely use on a daily basis. Remembering that every time that you have a longing or a discontent, write those down. Let's design that blueprint. Live by design and not by default, right? Bob Proctor says, who just recently passed away, and my heart goes to him and his family. But he says, some people live 99 years. Other people live 1 year 99 times. So who do we want to be? Do we want to live by default or design?
Technology is totally not our friend today.
Right.
That's okay. We're going to
Right.
plow through,
So-
right?
We are going to plow through, and we're going to move right into today's meditation because I have a feeling that it's really going to go well with what we're talking about. I haven't read it yet, you guys. This is all, you know, um,
That's part of what we do.
yeah, it's part of the
Is
authenticity.
just stepping into what it is for the day. And
Yeah.
we're really enjoying what you've shared with us. And I'm so excited for just taking the minute to reevaluate right where we're at and choosing and deciding where we're going to be next.
Yes.
So, nice big deep breaths. Feet on the floor. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Remember to be safe.
Today we are on day 30 of Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kennison. Thus, we may cultivate the powers of concentration and remove the obstacles to enlightenment, which cause all our suffering. It's from the Yoga Sutras. As far as I know, my feet have been flat all my life. As a young person, I was told I was very good at physical things, so I assumed that everything about my body was superlative, including my feet. Later, as an adolescent, and then in my early 20s, I was involved in activities that seemed far more important than my feet. So I didn't assume anything about them. As I approached 30, though, I no longer thought of my body as exceptional, nor did I find my life quite so compelling. I was ready for yoga. Oddly, my yoga teacher didn't think my feet were ready for yoga. Not only were my feet flat, she said, but they represented a character flaw. She claimed that my feet weren't really flat, they were just lazy, and I needed to learn to lift my arches. I looked at her dumbly, then stared down at my feet. There they were, just where I had left them. I began to see her point. They were flat. If I was really going to practice yoga, my teacher patiently explained, I would have to figure out how to lift my arches when I was in standing postures. At first, this made as much sense to me as willing my teeth to bend, but she assured me it was possible. I gave it a try. My toes turned out to be quite responsive. They lifted enthusiastically when asked, and then spread a little once I sent them the message that that was what they were supposed to do. The effort to establish a relationship with my toes laid the groundwork for my next frontier, the bottoms of my feet. 6 months of intense toe lifting, spreading, and gripping had a remarkable effect on the soles of my feet. They were stronger, more alive. The bottoms of my feet had developed so profoundly that I was now walking on a cushion of foot muscle. My confidence soared, and so did my arches. Equipped with active toes and buff foot bottoms, I was finally able to activate my arches easily. Now, hardly a day goes by that I don't lift my arches with pleasure. My feet provide a stable platform for my practice and for my life. In fact, my entire skeletal system has undergone a restructuring. In the course of regular practice, I have corrected a significant case of scoliosis and, in the process, ended 15 years of back pain. My experience is not unique. Through yoga, we learn to bring our attention to a particular area in our bodies or in our lives and keep it there. And the results are nothing short of miraculous. The only thing that seems certain is that we cannot imagine the power of a mind, a will, and a body refined by yoga. We must experience such transformation for ourselves.
Wow.
Right?
Right there.
That's
Right
beautiful.
there. Exactly what we were just talking about. It's
Yes.
seriously magical.
Yes.
Um, you know, creating, you're never perfect at anything the first time you do it. It's always a little scary. And the more you do it, the more you practice, right? This passage is talking about the diligence of practice and how that, leads to the next thing. It's the same with anything you put your mind to, anything you do.
Once you decide and you start practicing, you can only get better. Right.
Yes. It's funny how it talks about scoliosis. in 1979, I actually have metal rods in my back because I had scoliosis. And so what I have learned over the years is I still play, I jump, I zip line, I, ride horses, I ride skateboards, I play with my 10 grandchildren. I mean, I climb under tables, I do what I do because my mindset was, it's not going to stop me. Right. And it's not a failure, right? This is like pressing through. I'm all whole now. I'm not crooked. I'm not, scrunched. I'm not going to be injured. And so being in that memory of who we can be instead of who we're not, the awareness. Yeah. I love that.
Speaking of memory, leading right into the topic this week is memory. So it's just, again, one of those magical alignment things, leading right into that. So this week's topic is memory and how different things affect things like memory, right? Just like Anna Marie was just saying. But then also we have.
So I really like that. Like, if you are focused on, say, the scoliosis, and the words you're telling yourself is, I'm crooked, I'm not aligned, I'm not okay, over and over and over again, that's what you hear and that's what you remember. But if you tell yourself, I'm straight, I'm balanced, I've got this, I'm a badass, I can heal,
Strong.
I'm healing, I'm healed, and use those words repeatedly instead of I'm sick.
Yes.
There's something wrong with me. Instead of using those words, we got to talk in the positive so that our bodies and the universe can hear us. Like, everybody needs to hear us. Get on board with this.
That's right. So the universe, I tell my clients, what you need to do is write a prescription to the universe of what you want. I don't lose weight, I shed weight, because when you lose something, what do? You go looking for it. And then you find it. And usually you find something else to go with it. So you shed weight. So I have shed. I am so happy and grateful now that I have shed the weight. Right? I am making $1 million this year. Hasn't happened yet, but you're writing that prescription. You're reading it every single day. I actually have, I don't know if you can see that or not, a $10 million check written from the universe to me. Can you see that? Okay. So every day I look at that and I say, thank you, universe, for my first $10 million. It's not here today. It's coming though, because I believe the universe hears me and says, okay, it's coming. It's coming. We live by contraction and bound up and I have scoliosis, or we live with expansion and scoliosis isn't going to stop me. Right. And that's what your meditation for the day had said, the same thing, right? I fixed that. It's better now. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All of that plays into that practice of finding something that you can say to yourself until it becomes a part of who you are.
Yeah. I kind of talked about kind of how I describe memory. Okay. So you have a computer that everybody works on a computer or a phone today, and it has a hard drive. And then it also has a desktop or something that you're working on currently. The hard drive is something that we've been told or have told ourselves over and over and over again. That's in the hard drive. But when I pull up a Word document and I type in something new and save it, it can now becomes part of that hard drive. So when we speak to ourselves and we say to ourselves things like, I'm not pretty enough, I'm too old, I'm not skinny enough, I can't do that because then I don't have the vacation to do that, I can't do this, for whatever reasons that we give ourselves. When we do that, we put in that hard drive what it is we can't do. And so remembering you have a future memory. You have a future memory. And that future memory is exactly what you want it to be. So your future memory, I'm sorry, guys, I just kept going. Your future memory
Oh,
is,
that's great. I was like, thank you.
so the future memory is what you make of it. The future memory is who you say you are. So I also tell my clients that one of the ways to interrupt those thoughts that we have when our self-talk is not high, is to interrupt that broadcast. So I interrupt that broadcast with a message from my soul. I am a luminous light. I am a great teacher. I am an awesome mother. Whatever it is, that you feel is negative, create that future memory by telling yourself the truth. I am.
Absolutely.
I am, right?
And every single one of you guys is worthy. You are
Yes.
enough, and you deserve great things.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We've been having this personal struggle around being enough. And we've talked about it a little bit here and there, and being enough. You are just being a nuisance today.
One of our signs here on the wall, I'm going to pull down. It says, "You are more than enough."
You are more than enough.
Yes. You
And I
are
love.
more than enough.
I was having a hard time a couple of weeks ago, and I walked into our studio here, and I saw it, and I went, I needed that today, and I just started crying because I was like, that was the struggle I was having. I was like, well, that is, wow, so powerful, just right in front of us, like rain trying to remind me, already enough.
Already
Yeah.
enough.
And I love how you word the shedding of weight. Charlie and I have both shed over 100 pounds each. When we
Over 170 pounds each. Like we've lost a whole person each.
That's awesome.
yeah. And I love that you shed it because you don't pick things up that you shed.
Yeah. No,
And that's part of that mindset struggle that we get into with the yo-yo diets and the back and forth. And today I'd like to share a couple of things about foods that will help our brains. Yesterday I talked a little bit about inflammatory diets. So if you didn't catch that, you can go back and listen to that. Today we're going to talk about some shoulds for our brain. Our brain is made up of about 60% omega-3 fatty acids. So if we're not taking in those really good fish oils for the omega-3s, we're not helping our brains. So that's a thing. And our brain uses those omega-3 fatty acids to build the brain nerves and cells in our brain. So that's really, really important. And a lack of omega-3 fatty acids actually leads to learning imperative and depression. So the gray matter helps with controlling decisions, making memories, making decisions, and our emotions. So all of that is plays into that. That one's good. One I really like is that a lot of us like our caffeine, but coffee in particular is caffeine plus the antioxidants. And I really had to look up what antioxidants are because they kept coming up. So I'm going to explain a little bit about antioxidants, but first I have to explain what a free radical is. When our bodies break down foods and things and our processes like tobacco smoke or radiation, just breathing, we break these things down. And then as they get broken down in our body, that's what's called a free radical. And so antioxidants, or a group of antioxidants, is called flavonoids. So confusing to me, like to read these things, like I was like, I'm going to break it down a little bit more. And their job is to prevent and slow down the damage caused by free radicals. So if we're living in a really polluted area, we're breathing in a lot of pollutants, we need to increase the amount of antioxidants we are taking in. And so some things that have antioxidants in them are like coffee, blueberries, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, like everything that was on the list for good for your brain. I thought that was really cool. It's all the same thing. And then each thing has a little bit different things for it. But that's what I wanted to talk about today. Just give you a little bit of information about antioxidants and free radicals and why these big words are great.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of people are aware that antioxidants are good for you, but they don't know why. So thank you for explaining why they're good for you.
That's how I
really
felt.
great.
I was like, cool, that's great. Why? Why do I
Right.
care?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when we don't understand something, we try to avoid it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why are you avoiding all these amazing foods for you? And you don't even know that you're doing it because someone said it had an antioxidant in it, and now you're avoiding it because you're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks for that weird label. Great.
Um,
So as another part of what we like to do on our podcast is remind us that, because we are talking to women in leadership and entrepreneurs, that entrepreneurs are leading the way for giving in our communities. And so to support that idea and concept, we take on a cause of the quarter. And this quarter's cause of the quarter is Now Networking.
mhm. Now networking is a local group for young women who have faced adversity of some sort in their lives. And these other local business women help support and uplift these women. They're mentors. They help them find and provide scholarships for them, for training programs, college, and they follow them and continue mentoring them into a career. And whether, they choose a career right out of high school or they move on to college, for another 4 years and put on a party. And it's for a cause. So get your tickets and we'll see you there.
So
Nice.
the quote of the week, it is surprising how much of memory is built around things untouched at the time, by Barbara Kingslover.
Things you don't notice.
Unnoticed. Oh my goodness. One more time. First try today. It's surprising how much memory is built around things unnoticed at the.
Well, before we jump into that, I just want to talking about that quote you just said about what's in our awareness. One of the things I like to do is ask everybody, look for everything that's blue in your room, right? Everything is blue. And then you close your eyes. And then I want you to tell me how many red things you had seen. And most people will tell you, I saw more blue than I did red, right? And that's because the reticular circular part of our brain, when we are focused in on one thing, that's what we look for. That's our awareness. So a gigantic bear could run right across in front of us and we would never see it. So we just want to broaden our awareness of the things that are going on around us, our thoughts, our emotion, because our thoughts and our emotions are attached, right? You think scary thoughts, you get scared. So I just wanted to throw that in. So, but I have, go ahead.
I love that. I love that you're like, hey, can I throw this in? Because it's all great stuff. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's
Oh.
all part of this authentic, natural conversation, right? Everybody's got a little bit. Yeah. And I love learning from all of our guests. So we
Beautiful.
absolutely appreciate you.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And so I have
Speaking
a
of
summit.
learning from you.
That's good. That I hope so. So the summit I have coming up, it's called Kicking Fear to the Curb. And we have 10 speakers that will talk about how they went through kicking fear to the curb, if they have some tips and tools that we can use. And it's all pre-recorded, which is really cool because you can watch them at your leisure, because we know everybody's busy. We know that you're busy. So it's all pre-recorded, but it starts on the 21st of March. And one of the ways that you can get involved and become part of that is by going on my website, which is superchargeyourlife.com, but it's supercharge with a U and an R. So superchargeyourlife.com. And there's a landing page where you can get on there and register now to become part of that now, so you don't have to wait until the 21st. And as we wait for them to come back, it's been really neat on how this whole program rolls. I really like it. It's so real and down to earth. It's amazing.
Oh, well, I'm really looking forward to it. And
We were over here reading the Facebook Live so we could stay caught up with you as you're just rolling with us today. Thank you so
I have never had the internet restart on us 3 times like it has today, but it's a thing. So other events that we have going on, a Friday 9 a.m. live with Susan Gala, Mindset Mondays at 11:30.
Oh, and Susan Gala, our guest on Friday, is having an event at noon that same day. So I would love to see you guys over there. We're going to be going there. So if anybody wants to
It's called the Moon Goddess Gathering. We'll have it posted on our Facebook page for you guys to join us. So that'll be fun. And then our weekly readings will be posted 9 a.m. on Sunday on our YouTube channel. So go check those out, and where we read the chapter of the Yoga Sutras that we're talking about for the following week. So
absolutely, so excited. And again, one more time, I would really like to say thank you to Anna Marie for being here today and through all of the technical difficulties and just persevering. I love that you were right there with us, just like, it's technology. We're just gonna have to flow with it.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just spot on, we disappear for a minute, you just keep rolling with it. That's just kind of how it goes some days, right?
How it goes.
Love and appreciate you so much. Thank you, Anna Marie. We're looking forward to having you at our table again soon.
Yes, thank you, ladies. You are much appreciated, and thank you for allowing me to be here.
We'd like to say thank you to our audience today for hanging in there and through all the technical difficulties also. Anna Marie has great tools that she's given us today. So excited that she could share these with us. I have goosebumps from head to toe.